We're back, baby.
Alabama at number 5. Overrated or underrated?
They're slightly overrated. Greeny, I still think they're a playoff team, but they're on the cut line. And the fact that they're ranked number 5 may sound good to some people. This is the lowest Alabama ranking since 2009 in the preseason.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into our SEC Week 2 power rankings. Number 16, the Florida Gators.
But when you're in there and the bullets are flying, I think that's an area where the consequences become real.
After Florida's beat down by Miami, it's hard to say if Billy Napier is the right coach for Florida, and it's not going to get any easier because you got to play Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, LSU, and Ole Miss. But maybe you'll beat Florida State. There's that. Number 15, South Carolina Gamecocks. Sellers completing not even 50% completion percentage in his first game. It's not a good sign for the Gamecocks. So South Carolina's definitely got to get some things going offensively, or they're looking at a 7-loss season. Number 14, Mississippi State. So Mississippi State looked pretty good against a high school team. They need to tighten some things up on defense, but they could be a pretty solid team, but who knows? But for right now, I'm going to place him at 14. Number 13, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
A shutout. I mean, how does that feel from the defensive perspective?
It feels good, man. I mean, we ain't had one of those in a minute.
Not a whole lot to complain about this Arkansas team. It's just the opponent they're playing against. And they did everything they needed to do. They do need to clean up some penalties issues. That's just discipline. That can be fixed in practice. But we'll see how good the Razorbacks are next week against Oklahoma State. Number 12, Vanderbilt.
Game is over. Vanderbilt with the upset in week 1.
Vanderbilt got a massive upset Saturday, and everybody was really impressed, but you got to look at it like it's still Vandy, and they're going to be at the bottom of the SEC year in and year out. But we'll see if Vandy pans out. They start their SEC schedule against Missouri in a few weeks. Number 11, the Kentucky Wildcats. It's not a good sign when you do a Google search for the Kentucky Wildcats and the first thing pulls up is basketball, but that's Kentucky. Brock Vandergrift had a pretty solid outing, but he didn't really have to do a whole lot. I mean, their defense did most of the work for him. But they're going to have to prove that they're legit by beating up on some of the bottom-tier SEC teams like South Carolina next week. Number 10, Texas A&M. Texas A&M could not get anything going offensively, and Connor Wigman with 2 interceptions, barely breaking 100 yards, isn't going to cut it. And Texas A&M is going to have to revamp their offense if they expect to have any success this season. Number 9, LSU. USC beat LSU Sunday night, and it was a hell of a game. Their offense struggled at times, and they got way too many penalties. But on the bright side, LSU's defense seems like they've taken a huge step forward. And if they can clean some things up on offense and reduce the penalties, they could be a contender for the playoffs. Number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma did what they needed to do, and they did it very well. Oklahoma's Jackson Arnold threw 4 touchdown passes and had a pretty solid day. Their defense played pretty well too, but they did play against Temple, so we'll see how they do against Tennessee on September 21st. Number 7, Auburn. Auburn looked very impressive against a far superior team, but that's what you got to do when you play a bad team. You got to blow them out and beat them down, and that's exactly what Auburn did. Auburn averaging 13.7 yards per carry, scoring on pretty much every possession. This Auburn team could be dangerous. They could take down a few big dogs along the way, too. Number 6, Missouri. Missouri's defense was impressive, only holding Murray State to 85 total yards. That's impressive, even if it is an FCS school. They should have no problem against Boston College in a couple of weeks. Number 5, Tennessee. Tennessee completely demolished Chattanooga with 718 total yards of offense. Tennessee's offense once again is going to be elite. The problem is, how good is their defense? I guess we'll find out this week when they play NC State. Number 4, Ole Miss. Ole Miss was just showing off when they destroyed Furman 76-0. Jackson Dart, 418 yards and 5 touchdowns. I don't care if it's Furman, that's impressive. And they're going to be on top for a while because they really don't have a test until Kentucky, and that's at the end of September. Alabama's offense looks elite. Jalen Milroe only throwing 9 passes for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Ryan Williams, every catch he makes is a touchdown. It's looking like another elite offense for Alabama. And Alabama's defense may have not dropped off as much as we thought. And they're going to need that elite defense with Georgia looming. Number 2, Texas.
Steps up, has it batted in the air and intercepted.
Texas dominated this game, top to bottom. And Colorado State isn't a bad group of 5 team, but they have Michigan this Saturday, so we'll really get to see what this team is made of. Number 1, Georgia. Georgia struggled in the first half offensively, and then in the second half they really kicked it in, went down the field and scored. After that, it was a blowout win for Georgia, and it really wasn't even close. Georgia again is the team to beat, and the Georgia Bulldogs is the standard for college football. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later, alligator.